Science is a distributed infrastructure providing services and data sources to scientists, especially in the marine ecosystem analysis. In this video, we will show some functionalities of Science for analyzing the impact of climate changes on species distribution. Let's log in the infrastructure portal, then access to the ecological modeling application. Let's access to the data management facility. The data management facility allows users to perform the bioclimate analysis, that is, the evaluation of climate changes and the effects on marine species distribution. A guided tour depicts how it works. By clicking on Submit New Request button, it is possible to start new experiments. These can be distinguished in simulation data generation, which means probability distribution for marine species, species envelope analysis, for analyzing species preference about a sea, and environmental data, which means the investigation about climate changes. By clicking on this last option, a window is open, which requires user to specify the parameters for performing the generation of intermediate sea scenarios. First of all, specify the request title that corresponds to the name of the job to submit. Then, we need to specify the type of the interpolation we want in order to generate the data. Then, we need to specify the first table representing the starting scenario and the year this corresponds to. We have to specify the ending table. For example, we take the table for the year 2050 and we put the number of the interpolation we want. We can select the execution environment in which the process will run. We can check the status of the computation by clicking on the Refresh button. Once the process has finished, by clicking on the Table Management tab, a list of the generated tables appears. In the top column, the content type is indicated by an acronym. HCAF indicates the tables representing sea scenarios. We can select a range of tables of this kind and ask for a visualization of trends. We set a title for the job, and then a temporal order for the tables representing the scenario. In the Performance Analysis tab, we can check for the status of the computation, and it's possible to retrieve the result by clicking on the Retrieve Result button. It is possible to save the images resulting from the analysis on the distribution workspace, which resides on the Science infrastructure. By clicking on the Workspace tab, it is possible to explore the saved images and possibly retrieve them. Another feature supported by the system is the generation of probability distribution for marine species by means of cloud computing facilities. HSpec is the name of the tables representing such probability distribution. By submitting the new request and selecting Simulation Data HSpec, a window appears. Let's specify the title for the job to submit. Then we select the algorithm for distribution generation, for example native, and ask for the data-only generation. Then we select the table representing the sea scenarios for the simulation. We move to the Select HSpan tab and select the species model calculated at the previous stage. We finally move to the Execution Environment tab and select the available computational infrastructure for executing the job. In this example, we choose the Window Azure infrastructure, accessed via the Rainy Cloud Service part of Science. The calculation would normally take about 6 hours without the usage of cloud computing. As we can see, for this example, results are retrieved very quickly. When the computation has finished, we can notice that the table now appears in the Table Management tab. The indicated type will be HSpec. By means of the Inspector tab, we can check the contents of the table. Even in this case, an analysis request can be executed, which will produce a trend visualization for the probabilities of occurrence. After having specified the name of the job, we set a temporal order for the tables and run the generation request. By means of the Performance Analysis tab, we can get the status of the job and eventually retrieve the result by means of the GQ workspace.